You're welcome back. It's still daybreak and it's time for us to look at stories that made it to the front pages of our dailies this morning. Starting off with Daily Trust. Boldly there on the front page of Daily Trust, 2027, ACF gives conditions for North support. We also have the North Central Governors Mill Joint Security Operations. On the top, bank customers to pay 6 naira on every SMS transaction alert from today. Plateau traders lose 1 billion naira to midnight inferno. There's a picture there to show what happened. And Mayday, 70,000 naira minimum wage not enough for workers. House swindlers preyed on miracle seekers at Kanu Holy Site. 4 years after, police resume vehicle tinted glass permit issuance. And finally, on Daily Trust, kidnappers chop off victim hands, shun ransom. All right, now let's take a look at Punch. Boldly there on Punch on Mayday, Labour demands wage review to ease cost of living crisis. NAS to address workers' concern, Labour rejects 70,000 naira pay over rising inflation and others. At the top, CBEX resumes operation despite SEC ban 1.2 trillion naira EFCC probe rather. Still on Punch, 3 judges suspended as NJC voids Imo acting CG's appointment. Tinubu, Obasanjo, Jonathan Atiku pay tributes to Adebanjo. And UK speaks on Britain arrested in Nigeria for arms deal. Afrima 2025, Lagos ready to host Africa, Sanwo-Olu. All right, those are the stories we have on Punch. All right, we'll be joining this morning to take a look at today's papers. We have the editor-in-chief, Dateline newspaper, Nasir Lawal. Thank you so much for coming. Happy
morning.
Workers' Day to you.
Yes, same to you. Good morning. It's good to be here.
Thank you. So we're seeing the Iowa Consultative Forum saying that one of their conditions for support this time is good governance, not just party or empty politicking, but good governance. Yeah. And their commendation saying that this is an awakening consciousness. But the question that comes to my head was, they're saying good governance. I see that as quite ambiguous. What do they define as good governance? What do they want by that term? Because it's I would say it's ambiguous.
Well, just like you said, what will mean good governance to the ACF may not necessarily mean good governance to, for instance, Afenifere or the Ohaneze Indigbo. So it's actually very good for them to come out in clear terms to say this is exactly what we want. But to say, good governance, honestly, I don't think that will give an idea of what the ACF is thinking of ahead of 2027 election. And one thing I find curious in their statement is the fact that they said it's premature to start talking about 2027. But virtually all the things they said in their statement, actually had one or two things to do with the 2027 election. And we should understand the fact that, as a socio-cultural group, I don't think they have any power to, decide what happens in 2027 election. Because you can see even from their membership, some of the people that attended the event yesterday in Kaduna are actually members of, different political parties. So, when it comes to election, you expect these politicians to actually go back to their political parties and do exactly what they think is best for them. So to say the North should give them a rallying point, well, is good. But honestly, I don't see how they will be able to do that. Because right now, if you look at the people around President Bola Tinubu, some of them are actually from the North. And I don't know if it will be possible come 2027 for these same people to start talking about anything other than President Tinubu.
Well, we're going to watch it play out indeed. Nigerian political space is very, very dicey.
Yeah.
All right, Mayday. On Punch, Labour demands wage review to ease cost of living crisis. Now, we had a legal practitioner who spoke about this and said NLC are just focused on minimum wage, but there's more to the labour force than just minimum wage. And I remember when this negotiation happened and they came out and they looked, were happy about it. It's 70,000 naira. But we knew that inflation is definitely going to play tic-tac-toe with that thing they negotiated on that table. And I remember clearly asking, the NLC spokesperson, are you sure you people negotiated right with this amount? We're even seeing the problem in implementation. What's your take on the welfare of workers in Nigeria, given the inflation level, the economic situation, and the supposed minimum wage that was negotiated that is not even being implemented fully like expected?
Well, I think that's what basically the Labour is trying to do. They are not talking about the cost of living, that the wage should also be able to take care of the workers' demands and what have you. But like you said, the 70,000 naira that is now a law in Nigeria, how many states are actually, implementing that? So I think the Labour should worry about other things other than, just pushing for wage review, increase in their salaries and what have you. If you look at the power and the number of Nigerian workers, honestly, I think come 2027, they should be able to, show their muzzle to be able to say, this is the person that we want to emerge as president. Because if they're able to do that, then probably all the things that they want, right now they have like a political party that, whether it's owned by the Labour or politicians, nobody knows yet. But at least that's a Labour party that, the workers are identifying with. So if they can do that, come out with their demands, tell whoever is interested in having their votes, these are the things that we expect from you. If they're able to do that, they will be able to change so many things, and it will no longer be a yearly ritual, to say we want wage review, we want this, we want that, because whoever is going to become the president, or whoever is going to occupy the position of the president, will understand the needs and the demands of the workers, and then do exactly what the workers expect him to do.
All right. On Daily Trust now, we have bank customers to pay 6 naira on every SMS transaction from today. Meaning for every transaction you do, you're paying 6 naira. And if your transaction limit is 100,000 and you're meant to send 200,000 naira, you should add 6 naira per transaction. What do you make of this? Let's not forget the recent transaction per withdrawal on ATMs that was being made. And, aside this SMS charge, there's also SMS charge from the network providers, among others. What do you make of all of this, especially coming from the bank at this point?
Well, sadly, the Nigerian people are the ones that are paying for all this. The banks are declaring all sorts of, profits and what have you. And then the common man, the little that he is able to get, he's losing part of it to the banks and what have you. Honestly, I think the money is just too much. But, since it is optional, I expect some Nigerians to say, okay, just stop sending me the SMS. If I want to find out about my bank balance, probably I can take a walk into any of your branches and be able to do that. Because honestly, I don't see how, for instance, someone earning 70,000 naira, let's use the minimum wage as an example, and then maybe he receives an alert of 7 or so alerts in a month. He will be losing significant amount of money. So honestly, I expect the banks, to reduce this. If they won't do it, then since it is optional, the workers will find a way of, just doing away with it.
All right, now quickly before we go, CBEX resumed operations despite SEC ban and 1.2 trillion EFCC probe. I don't have a problem with the ban or the probe, but resuming operations means people are back into it. What do you make of that?
Well, you think Nigerians will stop using them? That's the problem. Honestly, if Nigerians will decide, to do what is right, we wouldn't need the EFCC, the CBN, and other institutions coming out to say, do this, don't do this. But because of our greed, sometimes even when people are under investigation, we are still pushing ourselves to them. Honestly, I don't think that's a very good thing to do. But Since we also have regulatory agencies, they also need to come up with ways of, checkmating the activities of these players, so that, the people will not be the ones to suffer all the time. I know some are suffering because of their greed, but honestly, some are suffering because there is a laxity on the part of those that are, supposed to play regulatory functions.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We do appreciate your presence. It's a public holiday and you dragged yourself into our studios this morning. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, to our listeners out there, I hope you've picked something from the entire show this morning, starting from our newspaper review to our discussion segments where we had two guests who broke down the different aspects and lives of the Nigerian workers. Happy Workers' Day to you all there as Nigerians. Thank you so much for sticking around on the show this morning. My name is Lilian Ogazi. Bye for now.